My top two fears in my pooper scooper business is aggressive dogs, aka dog bites, and vehicle accidents. In this video, we're going to talk about aggressive dogs and dog bites, so stay tuned. Hi, my name is Erica Crouppen, and I'm the owner of Crouppen's Poop and Scoopin', and I own a dog waste removal business in Michigan. I have been in business for a little over 7 years, and I have seen a lot of things over these years and have experienced a lot. We have experienced a few dog bites within our business. I have personally been bit myself, and one of my staff members has been bit 2 times. When this first happened, I didn't know how to handle it. I was the first dog bite. I was stunned. I was shocked. I had PTSD, I believe that's what it's called, from the dog bite. I was so nervous when I would go into a backyard that I was going to get bit again. When a dog would bark, I would freeze. And it took me a while to get over this fear. But because I was an owner, I handled it differently than versus when a staff member got bit. So when that happened, I had to figure out what the legal way was to handle the situation and what I needed to do to put steps in place to help prevent this happening moving forward. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I want you to be set up for success right from the beginning. I was really scared and didn't know what to do, and I wish I would have had a video like this to help me moving forward. Having said that, please do your own research, talk to your local city, figure out what the rules and regulations are for your business in your area when it comes to dog bites, especially with your insurance and how they want you to handle the situation. Let's talk about preventative measures so you don't get bit. Communication is really important. So when you are getting a customer set up, you want to ask a couple things. You want to find out, is the dog aggressive with strangers? You also want to know if there's going to be anybody home that might accidentally let the dogs out, such as kids, sitters, dog walkers, a husband that works midnights. Is there a doggy door that the dogs can get out of? Can the dogs hit the latch on the door and get themselves out? Is the back screen door, patio door, left open slightly so the dogs can come and go during the warm months? You want to find all of this information out when you're getting them set up, especially if they do have an aggressive dog with strangers. And I think it's really important to ask that with strangers because the dog may not be aggressive with them. The dog may not be aggressive to their loved ones, but we are strangers. We are coming into the dog's territory. My dog is sweet as pie, but when she's out in the backyard at the gate, because I live on a corner, anybody that's on the other side of that gate, she's ready to knuck if you buck, if you get what I'm saying. Like mohawk up, tail straight, barking. She doesn't play games. But on the other side of the gate, it's a different story because she's territorial. She is protecting her area, protecting her people, especially if there are small children in the household. The dogs are extra protective. We're also going to want to think about our policies and procedures. What do you want? I know a lot of companies that love to have the dogs outside because they get to love on the dogs. I don't know, it's just a perk of the business is to be able to see the puppies and love on them. But depending on what areas you're servicing, that's really going to determine what type of dogs. And I do not breed shame. I have a pit bull. I love my pit bull, but I was bit by a pit. Okay, I was bit on my calf. And I understand that they are an aggressive breed, especially if they're territorial, especially if they were not raised properly, if they were damaged goods before because they were in an abusive household or whatever. I don't know what their history is. All I know is I want to set the dog and myself and the homeowner up for success. Because of this, I have a blanket policy in my policies and procedures that no dogs are to be outside while we're scooping. They're to be brought in. And the reason why I had to do this was because of the dog bites. And also some dogs jump, some dogs will try to bark and try to bite at your bucket and rake because they don't like it. And then some dogs are runners. Some dogs want to charge the gate, knock you over and take off. And that causes issues, okay? So in my terms of service, it just says dogs are to not be outside when we arrive. Now, how are they gonna know? What we do is we send a text message when we are on our way, letting the homeowner know. So it gives them time to either let the dog out so the dog can go potty and bring it back in, or bring the dog in. Now, during my onboarding process, I have asked if the dog is aggressive with strangers. In my CRM, I am able to tag aggressive dogs. So in the job line that our technician sees, it says aggressive dog. So they understand that they need to follow this procedure. You're gonna text the homeowner, let them know we are on the way. If they do not respond by saying dogs are in, then we do not enter the property. If they don't respond, we're gonna call and we're gonna knock on the door. If they do not respond, we are leaving that property. We are not entering that backyard because we don't know if the dog owner knows that we're there. We don't want that dog let out on us. I'm not waiting any more than 7 minutes. We're on the way to the next house. We usually give them, it's usually about a 5 to 7 minute lead time, since most of our houses are between 5 and 7 minutes away. Now, what happens if we skip that yard and they text us later? Because our route density is pretty tight and we're in the same area, if a homeowner's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I was working, I just seen this, a lot of times we're able just to go back because we're really not that far away. So we can go back and scoop them. But if we have to skip, then we skip their yard and we just come back the next week or the next time we're in that area for double duty. Now, if this issue persists, I'm just gonna ask some more pre-qualifying questions. Like, for an example, we have this one customer, he lives alone, but he has a couple dogs. One of them is aggressive. Sometimes he doesn't respond. So what we figured out, that if his car is not there, that means he's not home. There's nobody there that's going to let those dogs out on us. So if we don't see his car, we can go in the backyard and we are good to go. But if we do see his car, he's not responding, we're knocking, we're calling, we're texting, and if he doesn't respond, we're leaving, we're going to the next house. And when he touches base with us, we will then figure out if we are able to come back that day, or if we're able to come back maybe the next day because we're close in the area, or we're just gonna have to skip and come back for double duty next week. Now, if this keeps being a reoccurring issue, this is where you might have to figure out, am I going to drop this customer because this is a problem? Now, what if you do all the things, you send the text messages, they give you the thumbs up, you're in the backyard and a dog gets let out on you because maybe they left the doggy door open, or it becomes habit, the dog barks, they let it out, they zone out, whatever. Or they have 2 patio doors and the dog was able to get out of it, and the dog, let's say scenario 1, dog gets let out, it's super aggressive, it does not bite you. You have a very stern conversation with the customer. This is where you need to make the decision. Are you going to drop the customer because they're not paying attention? Or are you going to put them on notice? Like, this is your one warning, I'm going to drop you if this happens again. You have to make that decision on how you feel. If you feel that the dog is truly going to attack you, I would suggest dropping the dog all together, or the house altogether. Don't risk it. Your life, your health, your staff's health, your safety is not worth it. There are plenty of other houses out there with dogs that are friendly and won't try to tear you up. And don't be afraid to have these conversations. This is your business, this is your health, this is your life, this is your staff members' safety is in your hands. And you need to make sure you are controlling the situation. Second scenario, dog gets let out, you get bit. I have a 0 tolerance policy. If a dog nips or a dog bites us, that's it. We are dropping that customer. They are canceled immediately. And they are put on our do not scoop list. I am labeling them as do not service in our CRM. So if they do try to come back at a later date, we have all the notes, we have all the detail, we're not going back there. So let's go back to the scenario where the dog gets let out, but you didn't get bit. Here's some signs to look for that you really want to take into consideration if this dog is aggressive, and you might think about either not servicing the property or figuring out what you need to do moving forward. Because some dogs are just barkers. Some are just vocal, some just, they're, why are you in my yard? What are you doing? Are you scooping the dog poop? and they're not actually going to bite you. But these are some signs that I want you to look for. Some stiff body language, they're growling, they're showing their teeth, they're barking at you, but they're barking and lunging at you. If they're barking from a distance, whatever, they're just barking, okay. But if they're lunging and barking and they're trying to bite you, they're trying to bite your rake, if they're stalking you while you're moving and they're trying to get behind you, from my experience, every time a bite has happened, it's happened from behind. So try not to let a dog get behind you if they are showing signs of aggression. And you want to keep your scooping utensils in your hand so you can keep maybe the rake or the bucket behind you, and you're able to keep them away from you as you're trying to aggressively assert your dominance to let them know that you are in charge, you're handling this situation. Try not to panic. Try to keep yourself as calm as possible. Now, some people, but I want you to check your local law and see what you're allowed to do. Some people carry like dog mace in their vest. If you have to spray a dog, you can do that. Some people also carry whistles that you can blow that can also distract the dog. Some people also carry treats so you can distract them, hopefully distract them so you can get your way out of the property. I think it's really important too that you know where your exit is. You can remember your customer's name, and if you're able to hop a fence, because sometimes you need to be able to hop a fence to get out. You have to be able to react really quickly, okay? And there's been times when I'm in a backyard and a dog gets let out and I'm like, hey, Stacy, your dog's out. Stacy, your dog's out. Hey, Stacy, your dog's out, it's getting aggressive. While I am having my utensils in front of me and keeping the dog in front of me or behind me as I'm trying to make my way either to the gate, to the exit gate, or to another gate so I can hop it while not letting that dog get behind me. While trying to remain as calm as possible and not be frantic. Now, it's easy to say this, me telling you this, when I'm not in a backyard and I'm not in that panicked state. But when it happens, all of a sudden your adrenaline starts pumping. And so kind of thinking this through and maybe role playing a little bit of how you want to handle the situation will help you moving forward. Now, when this happens, it's just like instinct kicks in, and you'll see how you actually react when this actually happens. Fair warning. If either one of these situations happen, you have to make sure that you communicate with the customer and let them know what's going on. So say for instance, you arrived to the property, the dog's out, they didn't respond, you couldn't service the property. I want you to either call and leave them a voicemail or send them a text message. We do most of our communication via text message, so this is a message that I would send to them. Hey, I couldn't service your yard today because your dog was out and reactive, or I didn't service your property today because you did not respond and you are marked as an aggressive dog. Please respond when you see this message. And then from there, you figure out what you're going to do. And you want to make sure that you document this process, document everything that happened. Now, if you get bit, that is when you're gonna have to stop. You're gonna have to stop, and you're gonna have to get in touch with somebody. And for me, for my insurance, they want us to go to the urgent care immediately, because if the dog bite breaks skin, it needs to get flushed out. I believe antibiotics need to be given. There needs to be workman's comp paperwork that needs to be filled out. There's an incident report that needs to be filled out. I have one from the insurance company that we fill out immediately, and then we handle it from there. Every state's differently, so you're gonna wanna talk to your insurance provider to see how they want you to handle this situation. And some other little tips, if there's certain areas that you know have more aggressive breeds, because there are certain areas that we service that we know the dogs are not there for companionship. Those dogs are solely there to protect the property. That's going to be your rougher neighborhoods, okay? And those dogs are aggressive, they are territorial. So I would recommend think about that when you are setting up your service area and use your best judgment. because like I said earlier in this video, your safety is so important. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to get mauled to death. You want to be thriving. You want to have a wonderful business. And when you start growing, you want your staff to be able to feel safe and confident, because I will say that once a dog bite happens, it does cause some type of fear within the body, and it takes a while to get over that. And lawsuits can happen, dogs can be put down, and this could be very, very bad for your business. So taking all of this into consideration, communicating with the customer, finding out if the dog is aggressive, paying attention to the signs, having the conversations if anything gets weird. Don't let things go on longer than it should, because not only you, but the dog could potentially get put down, and the dog's just doing its job. It's protecting its property, its territory. We are going into the dog's territory. And I would hate to see you get hurt. I would hate to see a dog have to get put down and a family member be no longer with the family because that happened. So make sure you're having those conversations. Make sure you're sending the on the way text messages. Make sure you have some type of like whistle or dog repellent spray. I always keep a rake or a bucket in my hand just so I have some form of protection if a dog does get let out on me and it is an aggressive dog. Practice hopping gates. Make sure you know how to hop a gate. Try to remember your homeowner's name. So if a dog does get let out, you can holler their name, get attention to you by remaining calm. Stay safe out there. And if you were curious more about the legal stuff that goes on with this business, I want you to go ahead and click this video from William where he talks about "Don't sue me, bro."